you get when you cross a Christmas tree with an apple? Well, a pineapple, of course. Today, I'm going to show you how to prepare a pineapple. Now, some of you may have your own special way of getting to the good stuff in one of these, and many of you may have never tried. But I think most of us have had pineapple at one time or another. And besides tasting great, pineapple is a health nut's dream come true. It is loaded with vitamin C, and it contains bromelain. Bromelain is an enzyme that aids in digestion, and it is also an anti-inflammatory and is helpful in many areas such as sinus conditions and arthritis. Today, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to prepare a pineapple. First, we're going to pick out a fresh, great pineapple. Next, we're going to get our tools ready to prepare the pineapple, to core, peel, and slice it for eating. And then all that'll be left to do is enjoy the fruits of our labor. So first off, we're going to be finding a fresh pineapple. We're going to use the senses of sight, feel, and smell to pick out our pineapple. The pineapple is going to feel heavier than it looks. It is also going to be colors of green and gold mixed together, and the leaves are going to still look fresh and not brown. If you turn it over to the stem end and smell, a fresh pineapple is going to smell sweet. One that isn't ripe yet, you won't be able to smell. One that's overly ripe will smell moldy. You may even see some mold forming at the stem end. Now this pineapple is a fresh pineapple. See, we can tell. It's so fresh, it's begging to be prepared. So this is the pineapple we're going to use in this video. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our tools ready. First off, apron. Apron because pineapples are juicy, they're full of fruit juice. And if you want to keep that off your clothes, you may want to use an apron. If you don't own an apron, then just make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't mind getting fruit juice on. I'm also going to be using a cutting board. Cutting board that maybe wood would not be a good choice. Since it does have enzymes in it that break down and digest, then probably a marble cutting board would be a better choice, which is what I'm using here. I also have two bowls. One bowl for the pieces I'm going to dispose of, and one bowl for the fresh fruit. It helps in the cleanup to have a second bowl for the disposal of all the pieces. Doesn't leave them all over the place and make a mess later on. Also, I have something to wipe my hands with. My knife, nice sharp, non-serrated knife, and the table, nice and low, because that gives us the vantage point to cut down and to put some weight into it. It makes cutting a pineapple much easier. So now that we have all our tools, we are ready to cut into this baby. So first thing we're going to do is get rid of its face. If yours comes with a face, you've got to get rid of that first. Next is going to be the stem. To take the stem off, we're just going to grab it at the base of it and we're going to twist. And that comes right off. We'll put that in with the disposable things. Now we want to establish a nice firm base to sit it on, so we're going to cut the top of the pineapple off, and we're going to cut the bottom of the pineapple off. And that way, we can stand the pineapple right off, and we can start the peeling process. And in peeling a pineapple, it's very easy. We're going to go all around the edges and cut off the outer part of it. Now, notice when you're cutting that off that the eyes of the pineapple still may stay on and you may see them. Now those you can eat, so there's no reason why you can't leave those on. However, some people go around and take those off and clean those up so that their pineapple looks nicer in presenting it with the food and how they're going to have it set out. I can tell you right now that the sweetest part of the pineapple is the outer part of the pineapple. So as you go towards the center, it gets a little more tart. So if those eyes, if they don't bother you, and I tell you can eat those things, you may want to leave them on. I'm going to leave them on because I like the sweet part of the pineapple. Nice clean surface here. We're ready to keep going. Next thing we want to do with this pineapple is we want to core it. The way we're going to core it is we're going to cut it into quarters first. And you'll see the core is in the middle. We want to cut straight through that core when we cut it into quarters. So it's going to be 2 cuts, and we should have quarters right straight down the middle. Now we're going to take out the core of each of these parts, and this is the part of the pineapple that contains the most bromelain, the core. And so a lot of times people will use this in smoothies because they want the bromelain. It's a little more tart than it is tartar, and it's tough. So it's good in something like a smoothie. And it's also the part of the pineapple that's used in marinades, to marinate meats and things. And so you may want to take it and process it and use it in a homemade marinade. Any marinade you buy in the stores and that will more than likely have this part of the pineapple in it. So you may want to keep that and use that part. Now that our pineapple is cored, we want to go ahead and slice it into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to go lengthwise down the middle of each of these and then just kind of cut them as I'm going along. That's wonderful. I like them in bite-sized pieces because when I'm in the kitchen looking for something sweet to eat, I'll just go in the fridge and pull out a piece of pineapple and pop it in my mouth. I can tell you that there's nothing better than that. So now you can see how easy it is to prepare a pineapple for eating. I have shown you how to pick out a fresh pineapple, to have the proper tools, to peel, core, and slice it, and get it ready for eating. Once we're done, I can tell you this, that when I taste a pineapple, and I taste how sweet and how tart it can be, there are times when I can't help but think about God's grace all around us and how it works in our lives. And sometimes all we have to do is taste and see that the Lord is good.